Andere. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday mornings with Luann and Tim. How are you this morning? Thank you to Casey's Security for sponsoring this. Can you imagine somebody puts money into this? Really? Hope you're doing well this morning. How are you doing?
It's National Hat Day. It's Hat Day. It's Hat Day.
It's Hat Day.
So Luann is wearing her sombrero. I just want to do a Mexican hat dance all over your face.
With those heels.
And I am wearing, what am I saying? What's mine say even?
Yours, UTSC. It's a big bear paw.
I wonder who gave me this hat.
I wonder.
Whoever you are from UTSC who gave me this hat, thank you. Ultimate Trail, maybe? I don't know.
Ultimate Trail System Canada.
Okay, there we go. It's also National Bagel Day, but we look better with hats on our heads than bagels. So we opted for this.
Speak for yourself. I look awesome with a bagel on my head.
Have you ever cooked a bagel? Like from scratch?
No. You gotta boil those babies, then you gotta bake them, and
I might like to try.
Yeah. Let me know how that goes.
You don't want me to bring one of those in?
Yeah, okay.
Those can be bad.
Along with everything else.
If you make a mistake with the bagel, it sounds like it could be a really bad thing.
Oh, it could be that flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good. I wanted to ask you a question this morning.
Ask me, go.
How do you feel about Harry and Meghan spending time in Canada?
That's lovely. They can live where they want, can't they?
They can. Some people are concerned because of the security issue.
Who pays for the security?
Well, that's right. See, that's the issue.
Not Canada.
Nobody knows yet, though.
Well, no, listen. No, not Canada.
Well, nobody knows yet, though.
I'm going to say not Canada.
I think you're right.
I would get mad.
But
I'm mad. I would get angry.
And then also, she's an American citizen. He's a British citizen, obviously. So if they become Canadian citizens and start paying taxes, then are they entitled to security?
No.
Why?
Wait a minute. No.
The Prime Minister is.
He's an employee of the government.
Right. Good point.
The royal family can provide security to one of their family members if that family member chooses to move. That's not our business.
But what if the royal family? What if Queenie is going? Yeah, you know what? You want to go? See ya. Go and they're gonna hire your own security.
Well, I think then with the $40 million that he inherited from his beautiful mother, Princess Diana, that he could afford to hire security. And if she's going to continue to be an actress, she's probably going to make some big bucks. They can afford to hire security. Listen, you know what? Celebrity's celebrity. You want to come and live in our country, that's terrific. But if you're nervous about your personal lives and you're a celebrity, then you're responsible for your own security. I don't believe our government has any, other than if they were a visiting royal, like on official royal business.
Yes.
They're not moving here on official royal business.
Yeah. That's one of the big concerns that everybody's talking about right now is their security.
It's on their heads.
And then also what changes if they become citizens and start paying taxes? What actually changes with regards to what
they're entitled to?
Yeah. And what
any other American who moves here and becomes a Canadian citizen, if a celebrity from the States moved, somebody famous from the States moved here, if a politician from the States moved here and became a Canadian citizen, they're not entitled to, you know what I mean? Like if Melania Trump someday moved to Canada, we're going to give her security because she's a former first lady?
Right.
No.
Also, there was some...
I have spoken.
There's some conjecture as to whether or not Prince Harry, Duke Harry, whatever,
he's a duke,
would be named
Prince too,
the Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah, well,
to me that is an even bigger no, because he's a British citizen.
Right.
I mean, I know we're a Commonwealth country, but he's a UK citizen. He's not a Canadian citizen. So how can he be the Queen's representative for a country that he doesn't even belong to?
Feel like moving backwards from where we've gotten with some of the most recent.
Yeah, me too. Like Michael Jean and Adrian Clarkson, right?
So
our local guy Johnston,
all of that.
Our local Sault Ste. Remand,
David Johnston.
Yeah, he was awesome. So I think it might be sort of almost frivolous, making the position frivolous if you give it to Harry.
No,
I find.
I do not agree with him.
I don't either. No, so it'll be interesting.
I think it's lovely to have them in our country. They're welcome to live in Canada.
I think it's awesome they picked us. I really do.
Well, I think because
we're awesome.
Well, I think it's also because we are not. Canada has not yet gotten to the point where we're that crazy press paparazzi.
Absolutely.
We're not like that.
Absolutely.
In England and the U.S., it's way worse than here.
And she can also still do her acting career from BC if they're going to settle in BC. But their dogs apparently have come over. So, like, this is serious. When the dogs come, I'm telling you.
You just segued to exactly where I wanted to go.
Except I wanted to just say that Megan surprised a women's shelter yesterday in Vancouver and just showed up for a little visit.
Really, eh?
Isn't that lovely?
That is.
Yeah.
She's still not getting security. So you were mentioning their dogs have been here. The dogs are a big part of the royal family.
Yes, they are.
The Queen famously has corgis.
And those are the little squat ones.
I had a corgi. Yeah.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
And their legs are
Her name was Dusty. Chipwood Dusty of Goralai. Yes.
What?
That was her, because she was groomed. She was like a real dog. She was like a purebred corgi that they used for breeding. Chipwood Dusty of Goralai. I believe she came from, look at the Queen with her corgis and the crowns. That is not a real picture. Did they?
That's photoshopped.
That's photoshopped, for heaven's sakes.
They're bigger than I thought. I thought they were like
Okay, so come back to me now. They're about this long and about that tall.
Oh, okay.
And their legs they're herding dogs.
Herding.
They herd sheep and cattle and stuff.
Really?
They nip at because they nip at the legs. Yeah, and they're quick and they can dart. Our dog wasn't quick. When we got her, she was about 6 years old, and she'd had, I think, like 8 litters or something. Her back was so swayed, poor Dusty. We had a big staircase, and when she came down the staircase, her back end was like quite large, and she had the sway back. And as she come down the staircase, her tail end would end up turning around sideways, and by the time she got to the bottom, she'd be looking up the stairs and going, "Where did I start? What was I doing? How did I get
Really?
here?" Yeah.
I can understand that. After you give birth, everything sort of shifts, and then you sort of have a big
She was lovely, but anyway, so the Queen has corgis. So that brings me to the reason I'm talking about that is because we talked yesterday about the Range Rover, the Queen driving her Range Rover.
Yeah, looking cranky.
Driving herself. 93, driving herself in a Range Rover. Yeah. Pretty cool. But then I started thinking, my mother was 83 years old, and she had a hard time, and my mother was in pretty good shape.
She's spry, yeah.
She had a hard time getting up into my car, like my SUV.
Yeah.
The Queen at 93, have you seen her? Like, she started to get a little stoopy, right?
She's about this tall.
She's shrunk.
Yeah, she's shrunk. Yeah.
I can't imagine her climbing. How does she get in the Range Rover? And then
somebody lifts her up.
I don't think so.
No?
I think that was too undignified. So I investigated, and here's what I think really happens. I think that the Queen, when the corgis have served their lives, lived their lovely lives as the royal corgis, I believe she takes them to a taxidermist and has them turned into little footstools. And they're stuffed, and they're like that, and then she can just go, "Oh, Emma!" And they'll bring little Emma out and put her, "Oh, Lynette!" And they'll bring little Lynette, and then she can step on the corgi and get into her Range Rover. Or sometimes like, "Oh, bring me Willow and Holly." And that's how she gets to the crowns on the top shelf. She just steps up and gets the...
And that's more respectful than somebody hoisting her into the vehicle?
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant use of dead corgis.
Because you have to have a use for dead corgis.
If I'd have thought of that, I'd have Dusty right now by my fireplace, and I'd have my feet up on her. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that.
You know what, though? Wouldn't it be funny if she stepped on them and I went, "Ay!"
Oh, Lynette's still alive.
Lizzie would be freaking out.
Those are names: Monty, Emma, Lynette, Willow, and Holly. Those were the names of her corgis in 2007.
I'm not sure
I've done my research, people. I don't just make this stuff up.
He doesn't. He doesn't make any of this up. Except the taxidermy part.
Henry VIII declared himself the head of the Church of England in 1535.
Really?
Yeah, he did that only because he wanted to get divorced, right?
Mm-hmm. And chop her head off.
Yeah. I want to start a whole new religion, so I'm going to say that I'm the king of the church. King of the church.
King of the church.
Look at him, Henry VIII.
Yeah, you know what? Imagine.
Oh, yeah.
How many wives did he have? You know what? Not in a million years, Hank.
I'm getting married to the widow next door.
You know, Hank,
she's been married 7 times
I don't care how much money you have. I'm not marrying you.
No.
Not happening. So there's this little feud going on between TV talk show host Wendy Williams.
She's lippy.
She is very lippy, and in my opinion, looks like a person in drag. And Howard Stern. So they've been yip back and forth at each other. And of course, Howard Stern, we all know, is also lippy and has a radio show, Sirius XM. So he took a shot at Wendy on one of his shows and said, "You know what? She's in the Radio Hall of Fame before me? What? Really?" So then she gets on her show and says, "You know what?
Howard Stern?
I had a successful radio show. I have a successful TV show. That's why I'm in the Hall of Fame. You don't. So maybe if you work on, your career. Lovely people. Little competitive there.
Hey, Hall of Famers. Jan Arden.
Oh, right on.
Will be the 57th artist inducted into the Canada Music Hall of Fame. I love Jan Arden.
She's so brilliant and funny.
Oh, if you haven't seen her show, Jan.
Yeah.
Is it called Jan?
Jan.
Yeah, funny.
2 N's. She also does a podcast with the lady from Shark Tank.
Oh, does she?
Imagine those two. I'm going to take my hat off because it keeps falling.
All right, she's going to perform live at the she's being inducted at the Junos. Is that okay? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
She's being inducted. If she falls off the camera, I'll just keep going. On March the 15th, the Junos. That's when she's being inducted. There she is.
Good.
Being inducted at the Junos. She will perform. It's being held at the Sault Ste.
Really?
Yeah, she's going to perform. 3 decades in the music industry.
What an icon for Canadian musicians, female musicians.
Her second album was this long ago. Her second album was 1994. First album was 93. Second album was 94. That's the one where Insensitive was on.
Oh, yes.
Insensitive. She's done 13 albums since that.
Holy
It's like
cow.
15 albums in total.
Really?
Anyway, congratulations. She joins the ranks of the likes of Katie Lang, Rush, Bryan Adams, Bare Naked Ladies, Alanis Morissette, Joni Mitchell, and Leonard Cohen. And then other people kind of like Bobby Curtola.
Bobby Curtola.
Yeah. And
the kids are going, huh?
And Chilliwack.
Chilliwack?
Remember them?
They were awesome. Bobby Curtola, I like to polka, but really.
Okay, so on the show today,
sorry.
there's my next move. It's from the Sioux Community Career Center. It's one of those.
You better watch your next move,
I
mister.
better watch my next move. That's a live interview coming up, but second. But first on the show, Jeanette Orizzetti, Jeanette's Custom Cakes.
Oh,
I know. First of all, amazing story about how this all happened, and now a development. She's branched out. She has a storefront called Sugar on Marsh Street. Jeanette's coming up right after this on Mornings with Lou Ann and Tim.
Home, lighting is just as important as style.
With PowerView Motorization from Hunter Douglas, you can schedule your shades to light up the room. Create privacy, or both, automatically. No hands required.
So your shades will always be in the right place at the right time in style. And it's only from Hunter Douglas.
Angelo, it's me, Vito. Imbecile, your brother. Listen, you bring 10 gallons of flat eggshell of white paint.
This past year, we've been celebrating our 65th anniversary, dating back to services originating in our community in 1954, which is quite some time ago. It's been a great opportunity this past year to recognize the pioneers, the stakeholders that worked tirelessly to create what we are today. I'm grateful for everything that the families 65 years ago and the people that assembled the organization have done in order for us to achieve the success that we're experiencing 65 years later.
This is ONNtv.
Welcome back to Mornings with Lou Ann and Tim. Look who's here. It's Jeanette from Jeanette's Custom Cakes.
Hi.
Jeanette Orizzetti. I have known Jeanette for a long time because you are great friends with my niece.
I am. She's my best friend.
Since grade 9.
9. I know. I can't believe I have to say that. But
wow. So you're born and raised through Ste. Marie?
Born and raised, educated, never left.
Never
always
left.
been here.
Now, okay, you had a job and that job ended.
It did.
And that made you not feel great.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it makes anybody feel great, but
Right.
I took it really hard, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then you were thinking, I need to reinvent myself. I need to find out what's next for me.
Yep.
What was your background before you opened Jeanette's Custom Cakes?
I am a graphic designer by trade.
Graphic designer by trade.
Yeah.
So how do you go from a transition from, I get art.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that what you do is you're an artist
Yep.
with fondant and cakes and flavors and all the stuff that you do. But what was the jump from being a graphic artist to baking?
I did enjoy baking growing up. Not growing up. My mother to this day, I'll still say I couldn't get her in the kitchen. But it was...
Your mother said she couldn't get you in the kitchen?
Oh, absolutely. I hate to cook. I still suck at it. I've burnt a raw chicken before. So
But baking is different from cooking.
it is. I think because there's more of a science to it, right? So I like being able to follow a recipe and things like that. You know, when you go willy-nilly, I don't really operate well like that. Like, I like a plan.
Yes.
So
I've learned this about Jeanette in talking to her before this interview. You got a little bit of OCD, eh?
a little bit.
Yeah. Which is probably a great thing, though.
It's why I do my job well. I like to say that.
Okay.
use your disadvantages to make them your advantages.
So you never, let's face it, you never envisioned yourself as being a baker.
Or being a business owner. I never had an interest of it growing up, not even a little lick of it. Like
So this was out of necessity, really.
It really was.
Yeah.
Yep. We didn't know what we wanted me to do,
And when we say we,
My
your
husband,
husband Anthony is a very big part of the
he is.
success of Jeanette's
Yeah.
Custom Cakes.
very much. Yes.
Yeah, you guys are a dynamic duo.
I like to think so.
Yeah. Okay. So you decide what? So did you take classes? Did you go online? What did you just?
I watched TV shows.
Yeah.
When I had lost that job, it just came at the time when that was starting to become a popular thing. So I started watching it on TV, and then I started buying myself the supplies and things, and then I would look and see, and then you look online and see a couple things, and I'm able to replicate something I see. I've been able to do that since I was a child, where if I see something in a certain way, I can do it with my hands. So by looking at a flower, I can usually say, okay, well, those components make up the flower, let's put it together.
Oh,
So it's just kind of
you have a dissecting brain.
I have a dissecting brain. Which is funny because
Take things apart and put that together again.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so wait a minute though. Now, one of the things that I also talked to you about before we came to camera was the fact that I remember the cupcake craze. I remember that. And I think that's around the time you're talking about when you're getting into it. A lot of those businesses that were cupcake, that was their main thing, was doing the cupcakes. Those are gone. So how did you ride the trend and continue on? What was different for you?
Well, cupcakes for Jeanette's Custom Cakes have always been an accent.
Accent.
Yeah,
okay.
so I don't believe in, and this is just a personal thing, and I don't believe in a one product system.
Okay.
I like having multiple things that make one thing successful. It's like, you have your staff or your team that make JCC successful. It's not just me, okay? So I have cakes, cupcakes, cookies, and miscellaneous, and those 4 things together make the successful business. It's not just cupcakes or just cookies.
The other thing that I discovered from talking to you is that nothing that's happened to you has been accidental.
Not a drop of it.
Since you made the decision to do this.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what reinforced that decision, about the NOHFC grant.
Yeah, so before we opened JCC fully.
JCC meaning just Jeanette's Custom Cakes.
I've shortened her name.
That's okay.
So it was a $25,000 grant that I was...
Maximum
$25,000.
From the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund, right?
I'm glad you remember the full name, yes.
I do.
So it was... you don't often get the full amount, so they look at your target area, they look at your skill level, and they look at your niche market, we'll call it.
Right.
And I fit all those criteria within the SUE because there was nothing.
There was nothing.
No.
There really still isn't.
I know.
You're kind of it. Also, it really helped that Anthony is a word master.
As you've known, my verbal skills are no filter, just out the way it goes.
So Jeanette said that she basically did bullet points, and then Anthony made it all flourishy and nice, and did all the catchphrases that they love to hear.
Yep.
And boom, you got the full amount.
We did. Yep.
So that led to then renovations.
Yep, we renovated. We turned because I wanted to work from home. I didn't want to.
Well, because you have a child too.
Well, now I do. Yeah, we didn't when we got the grant.
Oh, okay.
But she's now our primary concern, obviously.
Yeah.
And in order to have that and grow the family the way we wanted to,
right.
I wanted to work at the house.
The other thing too, and you're not shy about this, and you told me we can address this, is that you've struggled with mental health issues, anxiety, depression, since you were a teenager, actually, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And we talk because I also have.
I'm very open about it. Happily.
We're both medicated. Happily so. But so this is another reason why this fits so well in your life. Tell me a little bit about how.
Something that. It's too easy, and once you get me started on mental health, you'll probably have to stop me at some point because I'm so passionate about it. It's easy to skip over it, kind of like the rock on the water, right? You just let it go, and then whatever happens, it just kind of happens. I've chosen to take those, we'll call them disadvantages. They're not disadvantages. They are parts of me that make me me. And one thing I always said about JCC is it will always be uniquely Jeanette. Always. So when the clients have to book 3 weeks in advance, that's because my mental health doesn't do well with that when my 2 weeks aren't planned ahead. And is it a great thing all the time? No. But is it what I need to make my business successful? Absolutely. So every little detail that I'm like, you know what, I can't take that last minute order because I can't really take something else on my plate right now. It took me making that switch from, oh my God, I need to do everything all the time, to, you know what, I want to sit on the couch with Liz tonight. Sorry, I can't help you.
Self-care.
It's really what it is.
It is. It's self-care.
It's not all chocolate cake and spa dates. It's daily.
Yeah. It's a career. It's a business.
It apparently is.
And everybody has to make time for their personal lives and you got to have that balance. And when you're working, I could imagine working out of your home, it's even more important to set those boundaries, right, Jeanette?
I'm still working on that.
Are you?
I am.
Well, let's talk about Mondays. For instance, today we're taping this on a Monday because Mondays are your days out of the house.
And I have to get out of the house, yes.
Yeah, because when you work, I mean, if you said, well, your daughter's in school, your husband's at work.
What am I going to do?
If you were home right now, you'd probably be in your industrial kitchen or in the office.
Yes, that beautiful kitchen.
You should see her kitchen. It's gorgeous.
It's a little immaculate.
And I looked at it, I'm like, this freaking spotless. You are, must come in. It makes you very happy when you're OCD and you're working in a kitchen because it's so clean. But you have help.
I do have a lot of help. I have.
Let's talk about family. How you couldn't have got this business going if it hadn't been for the support.
Nope. Right? So Anthony is his own entity on his own, right? That man does the grocery shopping.
We can't talk a lot about Anthony because she gets choked up.
Yeah. So,
which is lovely.
Babe, I love you. Let's leave it there.
Okay.
My mother-in-law loves to, like, cleaning for her is like therapy. So she comes in and takes care of tidying up when the work week's over. And my stepmom, she comes in and does all the wrapping of the little cookies.
Seriously.
My father helps me with all construction areas.
Yeah,
my father-in-law helps with the construction. My mom is in London and she's emotional support. So I have everybody.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So this has allowed you to actually grow the business too because of that support. Now you've actually got people on the payroll.
I do.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
What an exciting development.
It was a really exciting development, but at the same time it was a big step.
Well, when you're a control freak,
right?
To let go of the reins even a little bit and trust somebody else and coming into your home.
Yeah, so it took about, I'll say, 3 years from wanting to have staff to actually having staff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got somebody who keeps you organized now,
yeah,
Stephanie.
Stephanie.
And then who's your baker?
Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Yes.
Okay.
So she's a better baker than I am.
Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the expansion that's happened recently for you. Now, people might think that this is sudden, but no, this is once again master planner at work.
Yeah.
Tell why you wanted to expand, Jeanette, a little bit about the dissatisfaction that you were feeling.
Yeah, so because of the organization that I have to get from having all the custom orders, I was doing up to 10 or 12 custom orders a week. And for me, that's a little bit too much. So to have Sugar open, I was able to reduce the amount of custom orders and save my mental health a little bit and save the organization on that side and open up the ability to have readily made available things.
I don't know if I haven't even been paying attention to pictures of some of the stuff that you do, the custom stuff that you do. Remarkable. Now, these custom things, how long do you usually take? You can start look at that, that's a wedding cake. How long would you require do you like to have?
Well, planning
look at it, you're a Friends fanatic.
Oh, I'm a Friends fanatic.
Look at Friends cookies.
Yep.
So if I'm coming into you to say, Jeanette, I've got a birthday like this cake, which is an amazing work of art.
Thank you.
How long are we talking about to plan this kind of stuff with you?
Well, to plan it, it's probably going to take me 3 weeks.
All right.
But to book the date, you sometimes need up to 3 months.
Up to 3 months.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at...
Like that was about 8 months of planning for
8 months
that
of
one.
planning for
but
that
that's
cake.
between the bride and I, and the, what do you need, how many people do you need to feed, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, to satisfy those clients who want something now,
Yep.
this is why sugar
That's why
has sort of
sugar got
become.
open.
And now you're working with Diana.
I work with Diana over at the Creative Nest
on March
Studio
Street.
on March Street. I was toying with the idea of opening up a storefront for quite a while.
Yeah.
But where it was going to be located was, I'm very picky, and I'm not going to hide that. That is something that my clients know too. I'm a picky person when it comes to my business, my branding. I developed all of that as well, so it's very, when I walked into Diana's store, I feel kind of like I'm at home. And
Right
it kind of, she presents this feeling where
You had taken some classes from Creative Nest, is that right? Had you gone
I had gone in because I wanted to be creative, but again, my hobby turned into a job, so I needed
Right.
something else to do.
And the job had kind of plateaued for you.
It did, yes.
And so you were looking you need another challenge.
Well, like I said to you in our previous interview there, I don't like to sit on my success. I like to always be planning the next step or growing it.
And I said, when you said that, that's when I said, I think that is how you rode that cupcake trend and kept on going, because you didn't settle. You just kept on building and striving. I'm so proud of you.
It's a good little Sioux story. I'll give it that
And also,
one. Yes.
I had the pleasure of enjoying. Well, I've enjoyed many because of Katie. I've enjoyed many of your delicacies, but one that was particularly close to my heart was for my mother. My mother was a Scrabble fanatic, and so did Katie or Karen?
Karen ordered.
My sister Karen ordered from Jeanette a custom cake for my mom that was a Scrabble board. It was brilliant, and my mother saved the fondant and put it in her freezer because she loved it so much. Because they are works of art.
Yep.
But sugar now is open. People can go in there and they can try your stuff.
I just want to make it clear, though, it's not every day.
No.
Okay? So it's...
Because otherwise you'd be baking all the time.
Oh my God. So not just that, I can't be out of the house all the time. I can't. A little crazy.
Right.
But it's open Thursdays, usually from about 11 to 6.
Okay.
And then Saturdays from 10 to 4.
All right.
So that's when we're there.
Go and visit Jeanette and get inspired.
If I can do that, I've done my job.
You've done your job with me. You've inspired me.
Thanks,
Jeanette Orazzetti, Jeanette's Custom Cakes. You can see her car driving around town. Give her a shout, give her a wave, and pop into the store. Sugar, next to Creative Nest on March Street. We'll be back with more Mornings with Luann and Tim right after this. That was sweet.
This is On TV.
Hi, can I take your order? Hello?
Oh, hey. Wait, what was the question?
Let me guess. One driving high combo, extra baked?
No. Could I get a burger with a side of fries?
Think you're a better driver when you're high? Think again. If you smoked weed, wait at least 4 hours before getting behind the wheel, or don't drive at all if you're new to it, have eaten it, or if you've mixed it with alcohol.
In your home, lighting is just as important as style.
With PowerView Motorization from Hunter Douglas, you can schedule your shades to light up the room, create privacy, or both, automatically. No hands required.
So your shades will always be in the right place at the right time in style. And it's only from Hunter Douglas.
Imagine knowing about incidents, closures, and roadwork all before starting your trip. Ontario 511 lets you know before you go. You can get real-time information directly from the Ministry of Transportation. Because the more you know, the easier it is for you to go. And spend the time doing the things that matter most.
much fun with Jeanette or
She's awesome. You know what? I could so identify with her because I am so OCD, and about giving things up and letting things go and finding the balance. Wow, what good energy!
I know. She
Sugar
really
is open twice a week. You said
Thursdays and Saturdays
on March Street. Go find her. We've had some of her baking as a gift.
As a gift, people have brought us
beautiful. And did you see those cakes?
I think let's check her face. Let's check Jeanette's Custom Cakes Facebook page because she showed. I think. There's pictures of her industrial kitchen in her home. Stainless steel and white.
I'll be so
like,
jealous.
No, you don't know. It's like gorgeous.
Oh, really?
She came in and we sit before we come on air. But when we pre-record, I like to sit with my guests a little bit. So Jeanette and I had and also we reminisce.
Yeah,
we've
you
known each
know
other
her.
for a while.
Yeah.
We sat at the table in the green room. And well, you know our green room. It's a disaster area. It's where everybody uses it. So she sat down at the table and immediately she started organizing the business cards and cleaning up the papers, and then she's like, there's crumbs on my placemat, and she took it and she shook it out in the sink. She washed her cup when she was finished. I was like, oh, okay, this is how I love it.
You know what? Because you're sort of like that in a certain way.
Well, kinda.
Yeah, I like if I do the counters, I wipe them down 3 times.
Yeah. She also did a baking show, and we never got to this on the interview. I would love to go and actually visit Jeanette in her industrial kitchen and have her show me some stuff.
Too.
Would you come?
Absolutely.
That would be a fun location, wouldn't it?
Oh, wouldn't it?
To talk to you would get it right off on that.
Oh my gosh.
But I'd like to hear more about the show she did. She got a phone call out of the blue. Yeah, from Toronto. It was a bake show, and I can't remember. She told me the name, Jeanette. I'm sorry. The name of the show. You can find it. It's
Michael said he's got it.
Oh, okay. So it was like some kind of a baking wars or something. Cake wars.
Cake wars. Oh my God, that's huge.
They found her.
What?
They called her and they said, we've heard about you. Come down and be on the show.
That's huge.
She was down there for 3 days. I said, how'd you do? She said, I got my ass handed to me on a platter.
That's funny.
But she learned a lot and
no
it was an amazing experience.
And she's making her priorities, her priorities and sticking.
You can probably find her episodes of Cake Wars.
Cake Wars.
Anyway, I think she said she has a DVD of it if you want to watch it.
And she goes by JCC.
Yeah, Jeanette's Custom Cakes. And sugar.
I love it.
Yeah.
And sugar.
Okay, so I mentioned about, we're talking about music, Jan Arden, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Okay, so, and Billie Eilish.
Yes.
I swear to goodness it should be Eilish. But anyway.
Right.
Because now it turns out she has a brother named Phineas.
That's who she writes with.
Yeah. Well, they've co-written. Did you know that they're the co-writers for? Did you talk about this already?
No.
For the new Bond song.
Right. She's 14. No.
The next.
She's 17 though.
I think she just turned 18. Yeah. The next James Bond movie is called No Time to Die. And she and her brother Phineas have written and she performs the song, which is going to be the theme song for the movie. She's the youngest artist ever to sing for the Bond franchise. Never mind sing for it, she composed it.
And you know what? Adele, remember that song she did? I mean, these are big, full songs. So this is
full
like
orchestration. I wonder how that's going to sound with her. That's exciting.
That's so much pressure.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Good for her.
Awesome,
Billie Eilish.
Hey, you know what? The Australia fires?
What? Are they getting better? It's bad? It's worse again?
No, it's not worse. They're still waiting for rain, though.
I thought they had
it's settling somewhat, but they're still actively engaged. But the Australian Open is taking place in Melbourne.
Wait, tennis or golf? Tennis. Oh, I saw that girl. Tell me.
And Slovenian tennis player Dalila Jakupovic. I'm sorry, Delilah.
Jakupovic.
I bet you can't say my maiden name either. She actually, while she was playing, had to forfeit the game. And now this is like the Australian Open. She had to forfeit the game. She started coughing and she actually collapsed on all floors on the court. And she said, I've never had breathing issues. She said, I love the heat. She said, but I just started to cough and didn't realize, and she was down. So, still an issue in Australia. Can you imagine?
From the smoke. Look, they're helping her off the court.
Oh my gosh.
I saw her collapse on all. You said all floors, but you meant all floors. I know, that's okay.
What did I say?
All floors.
Did I say all floors?
Yeah, you did, but that's okay, Luann.
All fours.
Look, now, Luann sat down just before we went to air and she said, I'm hungry. And then she got excited because she hasn't been hungry in a number of days because she had that stomach flu. So Audrey just comes walking over and gives her a cookie.
Isn't that sweet?
Isn't that sweet?
Our Audrey.
That's so nice, Audrey. We'll be back with the news right after this on Mornings with Luann and Tim.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
Schools in 16 boards across Ontario will be closed today as the union representing public high school teachers holds another one-day strike. It is the 5th job action in the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation's series of rotating strikes during a contentious round of bargaining with the province. The union, which represents 60,000 teachers and education workers, began one-day walkouts on December 4th. It has followed up with weekly rotating strikes that have closed all secondary schools and some elementary schools at the affected boards. In addition to representing high school teachers, the OSSTF represents education workers at some elementary schools. Teachers were angered when the government announced that average high school class sizes would increase and 4 e-learning courses would be mandatory for graduation. The government has since scaled back those proposals, but OSSTF President Harvey Bischoff has said it's not enough. Education Minister Stephen Lecce has repeatedly said the key sticking point is compensation, with the union demanding a roughly 2% wage increase and the government offering 1%. A disabled woman is in an Ontario court this week seeking changes to Canada's student loan program that she argues would level the playing field for people with disabilities. Jasmine Simpson, who is deaf and legally blind, says the program's current rules force students who take longer to complete their studies because of their disabilities to graduate with considerably more student debt than their able-bodied peers. The program currently grants loans for every year a student is enrolled in their academic program rather than the number of courses required to complete it. While the program refuses to fund undergraduate studies for non-disabled students beyond 5 years, no such cap exists for disabled students. Lawyers representing the federal and Ontario governments argue the current system is appropriate for disabled students and contains many other accommodations meant to smooth their academic paths. According to the CBC, Ontario fur traders are still in business. That's the latest from General Manager of the Ontario Fur Managers Federation, Robin Horvath. The group was concerned after North American Fur Auctions, one of North America's 2 fur auction houses, went into receivership last year. The company is the world's oldest fur auction house with roots that trace all the way back 350 years to the Hudson's Bay Company. But Horvath said the smaller fur harvester auction based in North Bay has picked up the slack. The CBC also says that some of the fur traders who were with NAFA are still looking to get paid. Horvath said the province may have a part to play in keeping trappers in business. U.S.'s Elizabeth Warren made a forceful case for a female president and stood behind her accusation, suggesting sexism by progressive rival Bernie Sanders last night in a U.S. Democratic debate that raised gender as a key issue.
And basically said that Bernie had said it, and she made a point of noting that of the men on the stage, there were 4 male candidates. They had all lost 10 elections between them, whereas she and Amy Klobuchar, the senator from Minnesota, were the only 2 women, had both won all of their elections and were undefeated.
U.S. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said the impeachment trial could start this week, but significant proceedings would launch next Tuesday after the holiday break.
And we'll be dealing with the witness issue at the appropriate time into the trial. And I think it's certainly appropriate to point out that both sides would want to call witnesses that they wanted to hear from. So when you get to that issue, I can't imagine that only the witnesses that our Democratic colleagues would want to call would be called.
Look, first, I can't predict whether we'll have witnesses or not. At first, everyone said no. McConnell seemed to rule the roost. Now we're having some people entertain it, but you don't know what's going to happen. So we're in better shape than we were a few weeks ago, but there's no certainties here at all.
This past year, we've been celebrating our 65th anniversary, dating back to services originating in our community in 1954, which is quite some time ago. It's been a great opportunity this past year to recognize the pioneers, the stakeholders that worked tirelessly to create what we are today. I'm grateful for everything that the families 65 years ago and the people that assembled the organization have done in order for us to achieve the success that we're experiencing 65 years later.
At Fit Bodies, Fit Minds, we want everyone to build a life that they love, and we teach you how to get the results you want in your mind and your body. Introducing our new small group classes to provide you with a happy and healthier life. Our small group classes are limited to 6 people to provide more personal coaching, while having the supportive group environment. Classes are 10 weeks, and each week you will receive fitness and nutritional guidance that are tailored to your needs. Fit Bodies, Fit Minds, we inspire you to move.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
So if you're a regular viewer, and you already know this, I think The Bachelor and The Bachelorette are the stupidest, most stupid shows in the history of broadcasting.
Well, right up there with the housewives of whatever.
Right? I mean, are we at that point that we have to cattle in there like a bunch of cattle and have some dude pick us and vice versa? Like, seriously. Anyway, people who like it, I know, love it. So I'm not trying to offend you, but I think it's ridiculous. Anyway, though, Champagne Gate. Did you hear about that?
I don't know what Champagne Gate means.
All over the entertainment shows last night and all over social media this morning, this one of the contestants for The Bachelor.
So this is a guy who's looking at a whole bunch of girls, and then he has to give them a rose, and they get to stay, and otherwise, see you later, sayonara.
So in one of the situations, one of the contestants had saved a very expensive bottle of champagne for a very special occasion in her life. She chose her date with The Bachelor to be that special occasion.
Okay.
Well, apparently somebody drank her champagne.
What do you mean who? Like
another contestant. And she found out who it was. So where there was some curse words flying around and just like...
Where was she keeping her bottle of champagne?
Pardon?
Where was she keeping her bottle of champagne?
Well, it must have been in a common area.
And someone got to it and opened it? And somebody uncorked her champagne and drank
it? Isn't that brutal? So anyway, she found another, like she called her out and there was that champagne date.
Oh.
But the funny part is... She found another bottle of champagne, so on the date, popped the cork, and she has the bottle in her hand, and she goes to take a sip out of the bottle. I guess to show that she can do fancy and she can do bottle or whatever. Well, it spewed up her nose. It went in her hair.
Look at the picture.
Look at it.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? Trying to be all classy and all that. I don't think she's getting a rose. That's my thought. I don't know. I don't watch the show. I'm thinking, like, imagine she had champagne bubbles up her nose. So you got to blow those out, right? So how attractive is that? And then Buddy's sitting there going, yeah, honey, it's in your hair, it's in your chest, it's up your nose. You're not very classy at all.
Oh, and then...
because it wasn't her champagne bottle.
And it takes a while to recover from that too. I mean, you got to cough and choke and blow your nose.
And blow your nose? Yeah, and he was like, oh. Yeah, he didn't know what to do with her. She didn't know what to do. Can you imagine? Drip, drip. What would you do?
I don't know. That's almost like being on your first date and passing gas.
Right?
Right?
Or barfing on his shoes or something.
Where'd that come from?
I wonder if I would take another sip and say, well, that one didn't work so well.
I don't know. Because you know what? You're good at being classless. So
it just comes tickety-moo for me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. That's what I like about you.
What do I like about you again?
How do you say goodbye in Spanish? You say... you want to say sayonara.
Right.
No. Bye. Goodbye.
Hola. No.
No, that's hello. Hasta luego. Hasta luego. Hasta what?
Goodbye.
Adios.
Adios. Thank you, Audrey.
I'm saying adios to you right now.
I'm saying adios to you,
I'm saying hola to Greg Callahan from the Sioux Community Career Center, talking about choosing my next move. Oh, that's a good thing. I need to know what my next career is.
You need to know what your next move is.
Maybe Greg can help me. Stay tuned.
Listen, you bring 10 gallons of flat eggshell or white paint.
So, you may remember Greg Callahan. You've been on the show before.
I have.
I also really enjoyed your performance in The Evil Dead the Musical.
Oh, well, thank you. You're welcome.
So, Greg Callahan, Sioux Community Career Center.
That's right.
That's the one you're located.
We're on the corner of Queen and Spring Street.
In that nice new office building.
Yeah. Oh, it's new.
Well, they tore down one to build that. So
I guess, yeah. Fair enough. I've been there for a few years, but
have you? How many years have you been there?
About 5 years.
Are you originally a Sault Ste. Marie guy?
Basically. I moved here when I was about 4.
Oh, yeah.
4, yeah. So essentially.
What did you do after high school?
What did I do after high school? What didn't I do? I went to Algoma.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. You got to stay in your hometown.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
Oh,
5 years at the job?
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay, so what kind of stuff do you do there?
Well, right now,
What's your title?
My title is Program Facilitator.
Okay.
And as a result, I facilitate programs.
And the program you're facilitating right now is called Choosing My Next Move.
That's right, yeah.
MOVE, does that stand for something?
That stands for My Own Views on Employment.
My own views on what's kind of empowering is to think that we can actually have our own views on employment and not be told where we have to work. You know what I mean?
That is exactly it, yeah.
Because sometimes you feel like, oh, I just have to do whatever's out there. I have to take whatever's out there rather than thinking about what do I want.
Exactly.
And what am I good at.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I just had a revelation.
I think you did.
Is that the kind of thing you do? Tell me about the program.
Yeah. So that's,
who's it for? What's it about? Greg Callahan?
So this program is geared towards youth. So people between the ages of 16 and 26.
Yeah.
And who have either...
16 to 26. That's our youth. Okay.
Yeah. And so folks that either have limited work experience, maybe they've never worked before.
Like the 16-year-olds.
Yeah. Or folks that have been out of work for some time. For a variety of reasons.
Right.
And it's about getting them back in that mindset to work. So not necessarily about hard skills, not necessarily about stuff like resume writing, interview skills, stuff like that.
It's so much more than that.
It's so much more than
that. That's included though, because you have the services that you guys you provide that service to.
We do, yes, absolutely.
You do like a walk-in service, don't you? Like somebody could walk in and say, I need help with a resume, and they can get set up with a counselor, right?
Yeah, we have employment counselors on duty that'll meet with you day one when you walk in.
So that's a built-in service.
Yeah.
But this for choosing my next move, it's tell me a little bit about the approach then.
Yeah, so this one's a little bit more in depth, and this one is so basically we get you registered, and we decide, we ensure that this program is right for you.
Right for you. You have to do a pre-interview, right?
Exactly, yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so it's about a 3-week program.
3 weeks long?
Yeah. Okay. And usually about 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. And
okay, that's good. Okay.
Yeah. We dedicate some time.
That's intense.
A little bit, but we try to keep it pretty, not casual, but comfortable.
Comfortable.
Yeah. We don't want people,
Don't be intimidated.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's a pretty. We're chill people there.
Yeah, I get that vibe from you. Okay, so what might I do in those 3 hours? Name some things I might do in those 3 hours, 4 days a week.
So we cover a lot of ground. We do a lot of different things, and we talk about strengths. Try to identify your own strengths. Try to identify barriers, things that might be in your way.
Oh, I see. And that's a huge thing, too. Having somebody there to assist you, because you don't always, that thing, make a list of your strengths, your pros and your cons, your strengths and your weaknesses. That's hard to do sometimes, but when you've got somebody coaching you and talking you through it and actually asking you the questions to find those answers, you can reveal a lot of stuff, right?
Exactly, yeah. No, so we try to guide them through the process. Exploratory, exactly. That's a very good word for it.
Yeah. and then you look at what the results and you say, okay.
Yeah, and then we see, we try to, we don't tell them what those mean. We try to get them to come to their own conclusions. How can I use this towards when I go to work?
Right.
How are these things going to help me?
Yeah. So somebody might say, gee, okay, one of my barriers is I don't take well to somebody telling me what to do. So then you've got to identify, okay, I need to find a way to be able to handle it when I can't take it as criticism, I have to listen to it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You learn. It's kind of like realizing where you need to make some changes to make yourself viable in the market.
Exactly, yeah. And also it's about the stuff that you say to yourself, right? It's about your own negative self-talk. We try to identify that.
Do you?
Yeah, we try to identify what you're saying to yourself that's holding you back. Because a lot of times that's like, the other things that come with it, like, not having transportation or, maybe no one's hiring, what have you. These are external barriers. These are things that can be dealt with. What you say to yourself, that's what's holding you back, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we try to give them tools and methods to deal with that.
Okay.
And to identify that, because sometimes you don't even really understand or you don't really know what you're saying to yourself.
And this is all in addition to the hard skills as well.
So we set them up with
the resume stuff.
Yeah, so we set them up with an employment counselor who's going to help them out with that.
Okay.
So that's external to the program, but it is something that we do include.
Okay, I get you. Okay, so and the goal along the 3 weeks, 4 days a week, 3 hours a day, is to eventually get these people, young people, 16 to 26. Into a workplace.
Exactly, yes. So there's a couple step process for that. First, we do what we call a job trial. So that's where we set them up with an employer for about 3 days. And so these ones are unpaid. The reason for that is it takes pressure off the employer, takes pressure off the client, and just allows us to sort of give them a more recent work experience as we move them into the job placements. Now these ones are paid, and these last for a longer period of time.
So do you do more than one 3-day thing? Like, can you try different places for 3 days, or is it usually just one for 3 days?
Usually just do the one, but as a time and place, we can decide if they need a little.
You can personalize it if you need to.
A little bit if we need to. Yeah.
So you have basically already, Greg, contacts in the community, in the business community, of people who are looking for positions to be filled where there's an opportunity for growth and perhaps even getting hired down the line.
Yeah, and we try to personalize it to the clients as much as possible.
So you match them up.
Yeah, we try to make sure that it's not someplace that they're going to fail if we put them.
No,
well, not fail, but if that they won't be successful. But
yeah, I know.
But we might try to make sure that it's going to be something that uses their skills effectively, and B, something that's going to interest them, going to keep them coming back.
And
right?
maybe also challenge them a little bit, right? Like make them excited to try. Learning stuff. Of
course,
because that's always fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so once they've done their 3 days free, then do they actually start for a limited job placement with pay?
Yes. So, and those take a little bit more time to set up, but we do set them up, as soon as possible afterwards.
Okay.
And those last for anywhere from usually 4 to 6 weeks. Those placements. Last
Really?
Yeah.
So that's like almost like an internship, right?
Yeah.
But it's not a guarantee to employment.
Not guaranteed, but that is the goal.
The goal is that you prove to the person that you're placed with that you are a valuable asset to the company, to the business, and you make the employer go, "How did I ever live without you?"
Exactly.
So-and-so?
That is ideally how that would work out. Yes.
You can make that happen for yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys, the whole thing is motivation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the keys, one of the main things behind the program is to motivate young people.
Exactly, yeah. It's all about establishing that motivation, because if I tell you, hey, you got to go to work, chances are you're not going to do it. But if you establish that for yourself, then you have your own reasons. You have your own.
You and I talked a little bit of the word passion.
Yeah.
That I think sometimes people need a little help in identifying what they're passionate about. You ask somebody who's 17 years old, what are you passionate about? You may not get an answer right away.
Exactly.
They got to do some thinking, because that's a pretty deep question.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? They might not have discovered that thing yet.
Exactly.
So one thing that we do is we do interviews with a lot of different local people in a wide variety of jobs.
Yeah.
And then we sometimes we bring them into the classroom. Sometimes we do a video, but it allows them to.
You bring speakers and stuff in too.
Yeah, that's what we did last time. Yeah, and it was really fun.
Very cool. How do we register? Where do we go?
So you either give me a call or my colleague Nathan Muto at the Sioux Community Career Center.
Right.
Give us a call at 705-759-0909.
You can Google that too. Sioux Community Career Center. The numbers there. You have a website.
We do, yes. SiouxCareerCenter.ca.
Absolutely. All the information is there.
Yep.
Greg Callahan, choosing my next move, right?
That's right. You got it.
Check it out. And we'll be back with Luann after this.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
If you're struggling with thoughts of suicide, there is hope and there is help. You matter. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The calls are free and confidential. Call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. You are not alone.
Hola, mi nombre es Timoteo. ¿Dónde está baños?
Have a good day.
Hi, my name is Tim. Where's the bathroom?
Oh, use your hat, buddy.
That's what I was saying in Cuba a lot. ¿Dónde está baños? ¿Dónde está baños? ¿Dónde está baños?
Thank you so much for watching. We certainly appreciate it. And also, thank you to Casey Security. Every single day, they sponsor our show, even on Hat Day.
Even on Hat Day.
Thank it so much.
Thank it.
Thank it.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.